Welcome back to Star Wars Sublight. I'm so excited that there's new Star Wars content on the way. With the Ahsoka series set to debut August 23rd, the time has come yet again for you and I to overanalyze the galaxy together. And it looks as though on August 23 we're getting a double whammy. That's because the series premiere and the second chapter are releasing at the same time. So ahead of their release, let's take a look at what we know about the series so far. All 8 episodes of Ahsoka are written by Dave Filoni. Filoni, of course, needs no introduction round here, but it's worth mentioning that he was often referred to as George's Padawan during the production of the Clone Wars TV show, and together the pair created the character of Ahsoka. Episode 2 of Ahsoka will be directed by Steph Green, who recently directed an episode of the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 2, The Tribes of Tatooine. I'm pretty excited to see Steph Green back in the director's chair because this episode was a standout among the series. She really got to show us what she could do, because this episode pretty much has it all. High stakes action with a train robbery, a vision quest with loads of visual storytelling, a powerful message about the bonds we make, and the occasional bit of humor executed well.
Like a bantha. Yes?
Action, heart, and humor are foundational to a good Star Wars story. So how much new Star Wars will we be able to binge on August 23? The runtimes for the first episodes have come out, and together we're in for over an hour and a half of Ahsoka goodness. The first episode, I'm gonna take a gamble and say that they'll be called chapters, will reportedly be 54 minutes long. That's 51 without credits.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't!
Steph Green's Chapter 2 will reportedly be 42 minutes, 38 without credits. These runtimes loosely line up with what we saw in the first 2 episodes of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. It makes sense for the first episode to ease us into the new show and surroundings, running over the 50-minute mark, before launching into a shorter second episode.
You're shorter than I expected.
Judge me by my size, do you?
There's more than a few burning questions fans need answers to. Some of them are left over from the finale of Star Wars Rebels, which was almost 5 years ago. Things like the location of Ezra Bridger, whose last known whereabouts were with a certain blue-skinned, red-eyed admiral.
Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
I don't think we'll find the answer to these questions when the series premieres. I think there'll be larger questions to be answered down the line. But I think we will discover things like, who is Baylan Skoll? Where has he been all this time? And when did he take a Padawan in Shin Hati? The trailers show us that Baylan was old enough to remember Anakin Skywalker. He's obviously a fallen Jedi Knight, but the question is, when did Baylan fall? Did he go his own way during the Clone Wars? Or was he caught up in Order 66 and forced to renounce the Jedi Code? And if that's the case, then why take on a Padawan? Perhaps there's something about the Jedi Code, the Jedi nature, that makes them want to rebuild the Order. And this is where it could get really interesting if we see Jedi Orders shaped in the image of Baylan Skoll, Ahsoka Tano, and Luke Skywalker consecutively. It seems that at this time, all 3 are looking to take on apprentices. You've got Baylan and Shin, Ahsoka and Sabine, Luke at first with Leia, and then offering to train Grogu. We could be looking at 3 distinct visions for the legacy of the Jedi. Mind you, just a few years before the Ahsoka series is set, Luke Skywalker was the only one actively calling himself a Jedi.
I am a Jedi.
Speaking of the Jedi Order, what's the deal with Hu Yang? He was the Jedi's droid instructor, teaching them how to construct lightsabers for centuries. Seeing him return in the Ahsoka series is a surprise, to be sure. And you've got to wonder, where has he been in the 30-odd years since Order 66? And what it means for the Jedi in the age of the New Republic?
Perhaps it is time to begin again.
What is up with Morgan Elsbeth? It seems like the Magistrate of Caladan was just a henchman for Thrawn when she was introduced in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. But seeing her come back in the series and actually be central to Thrawn's mysterious return raises more than a few questions. People have theorized that Morgan Elsbeth is using magic in the trailer. A green fire can be seen, which is typically a trait of the Witches of Dathomir. Though she doesn't look like a typical Night Sister, I'm wondering if she's been trained in their arts at some point. But if that is the case, then why didn't she use her powers during her fight with Ahsoka on Caladan? And finally, we need to talk about the presence, or absence as it may be, of Anakin Skywalker. Ahsoka's journey is so closely linked to her former master. During the Clone Wars, she fought by his side. By the time of Star Wars Rebels, she came to realize her former master had become the very thing they swore to destroy. And now that Darth Vader is gone from the galaxy, we can see that Anakin still haunts Ahsoka. We've heard Anakin speak in recent trailers, referring to the fact that in this war, Ahsoka will have to fight more than just droids. It sounds as though she's recalling old advice from her master. But what if Ahsoka is actually communing with Anakin's spirit after he was redeemed over the moon of Endor and returned from the Netherrealm of the Force? Perhaps Anakin will finish what he started and continue to guide his former Padawan to knighthood throughout the series. I have a feeling we're going to see Hayden Christensen come back as both a flashback to the Clone Wars and in spirit form as the redeemed Anakin Skywalker. We are so close to uncovering the mysteries laid out years ago by Dave Filoni and other creators, and I'm excited to explore each and every chapter of the Ahsoka series with you. So please go ahead and let me know what you think of this video format, and be sure to keep an eye out for its companion, the post-show roundup. That's where we'll have a recap, we'll look at the biggest reveals, we'll be choosing episode MVPs, and if there's any glup shittos making their triumphant return to the galaxy far, far away in Ahsoka, we'll be sure to point them out. Sub to Sublight if you haven't already, and leave a like if you learned something new. Until the series premiere, take care of yourself and don't forget that the Force will be with us. Always.